Hi guys, welcome back. So I finally got around to starting working on the August bargain bead box, which is Woodland Whimsy collection. And so I started designing, and I figured we can do some more designing together, but I wanted to use this focal pendant. So what I did do was I put a very large jump ring in it, and I'm going to bring you guys down, focus in a little better. So I got this really large jump ring because I want this to be the focal, and I haven't decided. I think I may want that side as the front. Yes, this side. So that's going to be my front. And I've kind of designed out my necklace here. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to make this necklace. So I'm going to take a length of beadalon, and I always take a little extra. It's fine. You can measure specifically if you want, but I always like to have a little bit extra just in case something happens. So what I'm going to do first is, because I'm not sure how much of this I'm going to want on, I'm going to start out with stringing 2 beads here, my center bead, and basically the center part. And that's going to be a very heavy pendant. I do really like that. I don't know why, I just like this peach color with this green. It's really pretty. And then I'm going to continue stringing. I'm going to do at least the first set here. Just the camera there a little bit. On each side. Because what I had thought about doing was maybe kind of having, you know, the beads, some space with the wire, maybe doing a gold crimp or something. I'm not sure if I want to do that. So now I'm going to string the other side. And this is why I'm keeping extra, because if I decide that I want to make it longer or I want to make it shorter, I can definitely do that. And I have a bunny licking my feet again. She just loves to do that. See, I really like how that hangs, but I just don't want to have just, I really like that. I mean, I really like just that part right there so far. And I try to make my designs, and I know I've seen some videos where beaders talk about, or, you know, Facebook pages where beaders talk about having to rip things apart. And yes, I've had to rip things apart I didn't like. I try not to do that, though, as often as possible, just because I feel like it's, you know, you work so hard to put these things together. And then to rip it apart and have to do it over, it just kills me to have to do that. So I try, sometimes not very successfully, but I try. And actually, I'm going to swap this bead for that bead because there's more red, so that I can kind of keep them in sync as far as coloring. But I try to design, anyways, so I try to design my beads so that I get the design that I like, I really enjoy, before I finish it. And yes, I've had it where I've, you know, started to do it, pulled it apart as I was doing it. I've only had to pull apart a few pieces. Although I did a outdoor craft fair 2 weeks ago Unfortunately, it got very windy, middle of the day. And, being out in a parking lot, my canopy, even though it was weighted down with weights, went flying because we had a gust of wind, and I probably lost, about 20 or 30 pieces of jewelry between either the cords breaking or the beads breaking because they hit the pavement. So I'm gonna have to rip all of those apart and see what beads I have left that are still good, and I may be having to redesign a bunch of those. I'm kind of sad about that. I guess, that's what happens when you do outdoor markets. You always run the risk of inclement weather getting the better of, your tent. And as much as I had things weighted down, and I had, I even had weights on my displays. So my displays have little clip-on, they're fisherman weights. They're the weights for the poles, the sinkers. So I have, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 6 ounces of weight on each display. And they're just the little, like, bust displays, trying to hold them down in place, and the wind still got them, unfortunately. So, yeah. All right, so I think I'm going to put all of these on. I do like this. I probably could put some leaves in here, and I may do that because I just got an idea if this isn't going to be long enough, which it's not. So, what I was thinking was we have these gold leaf spacer beads. And so this is this is why I say this is what I do when I take things apart for my ideas. So I'm going to hopefully get this wire out without messing up my design. Yay. And what I'm going to do is in between each section with these flat coin beads, I'm going to put a gold leaf bead. I think I'm going to like that. So that'll be a little bit of bling, maybe. And I'm going to try it, and we'll see what we think. Let's do this side, get this guy out of the way. And so oh, yeah, I kind of like that. Yes, and what I do is I hold it up to myself just to see what I think. It gets a little bit of gold in there. Now, I've watched some YouTube videos recently where I was watching a designer, and they were making something, and they had to take it apart, and they redid it because they didn't like it. And I was like, no, I liked it better the first way. So have you ever had that experience watching a designer? And if you're watching me and you're like, oh, I liked it better without the gold, feel free to leave comments. I do kind of like this because I think it breaks up the the pattern just a little bit more. And I'm getting hooked on things here. And so my challenge is, and this is why I get the bargain bead boxes and the curated bead boxes, because I don't know, if you guys are like this or not, but I tend to go to the stores or bead shops, and I always buy the same colors. I'm always drawn toward the purples or the blues or, certain styles of beads. But with getting the bargain bead boxes, I have to step out of my comfort zone, and I tend to find that I like my designs when I do that. Oh yeah, I like this. Yeah, I'm liking that much better. I think it was a little bit plain before with just the stone beads and the peach rondelles. All right. And because I got the curated bead box in recently, you guys are going to get an extra video this week because I did the unboxing video earlier that I'm going to be posting probably same time or next day. Or actually, this might be the next day from the unboxing. So you get 2 videos this week, so hopefully you enjoy that. I'm getting a little bit behind in my beading, unfortunately. I've got a lot of things that need to get put together. It's what happens when you get all of your bead boxes at the same time. Whoops. Yes, that's going to be perfect. It's going to be a perfect length with all of these on there. So part of the reason why I'm also behind in beading is because I've been spending my weekends, so I work a full-time job, but I spend my weekends, the last couple of weekends. One, I had the craft fair, but this past weekend, I spent cleaning out my basement, getting a bunch of stuff ready to go to Goodwill, because I'm trying to find better storage than my craft room for all of my finished jewelry that's packed up and ready to go to craft fairs and markets, and anything that I have up in my Etsy shop. I'm going to be putting in airtight containers and packaging them and getting them ready for oops, sorry. Ooh! Bumped the camera. And I think I just... Did I? Nope, I didn't. I saved it. I dropped... Let me get you back. Sorry about that, guys. I dropped the necklace after trying it around my neck. But that's what it's going to look like. So now I'm going to grab some crimp. I'm going to grab some crimp beads. Here. I think These might do. They're kind of tiny, but we'll see if these will work. If not, I'll get the next size up. And what I think I'm going to do is I am going to try something a little bit different this time. And I'm going to get some, try to find jump rings to match the right gold. May not have, well, I do. They're just bigger than what I was hoping for, but that's okay. Okay, and giving a bunny a cookie. She gets way too many cookies because she's spoiled rotten. And I think that is going to require, I don't know if there's going to be able to be, is that going to go through there? No. All right, I need the bigger crimp beads. Slightly bigger crimp bead. And actually what I'm going to do is see if I can get, before I need to trim that. And I'm bumping the camera. Sorry about that, guys. I'm going to try to flush cut that end so that's not so rough. Yeah, that works. So what I think I'm going to try to do, a little bit different than what I normally do, is instead of using the clamshells, I think I am going to just use this little tiny crimp bead here and take a chance on doing this. And I'm just going to flatten that down and then pull this and thread. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread the end back through a few beads before I cut it off. And I'm going to trim it. Flush. And then we're going to go do the other side. And again, you want to make sure this isn't super, you don't want it so stiff when you pull it that your beads won't move like this. You kind of want it fluid. Oh, I'm liking this. I am really liking this necklace. Oh, crimp bead first. Always helps to get the crimp bead on first. And so we are just going to keep pulling until it's tight. And so all I'm doing is I keep moving the crimp bead down toward the because see there's space there and I don't want too much space. So I keep moving this bead down like that. I may try to all right, so there is oh, and I just pulled the jump ring off. You got to be careful of that. That you don't yank the jump ring through and trying to get it too tight. I pulled it right through the jump ring. There we go. All right, there. That should be tight enough now. And now I'm just going to crimp that side. All right, so that gives me tight, but yet not so tight that it won't bend around. All right, so now, and sorry if that was off camera, I was trying to do this so I could see it. I am going to feed this end through a few more beads just to have some extra wire here. All right, sorry about that, guys. I just had an incoming call. Forgot to set my phone on Do Not Disturb. So, anyways, where were we? Hopefully, the video didn't stop too long. I will have to go back and watch it. So I'm just pulling my wire back through a few of these beads just so I have a little bit more in the way of security. And then I'm just going to cut that off and get it as close as I can. And so there we go. Now all I have to do is find a lobster claw. So I'm going to go into my necklace findings and find a nice clasp. Nice lobster claw to go with. And we are going to put a lobster claw on the end. And then we will be done. So I am going to take another jump ring. Are these the ones that I used? No, these are. I'm going to put a couple jump rings, just one more on the one end. with the lobster claw. Just to give it something to clasp onto. And there we go. So, what do you think? First necklace from the Woodland Whimsy collection. I absolutely love this. So, let me know what you think, and thanks for watching.